All my favourite YouTubers keep getting banned. That says something about my...
I'm such a square. None of my route at YouTubers get banned. Hi,
oh look, we've had people posting in the comments.
Yeah, we have. Waiting for our nerds. Why isn't it not going yet? Come on.
People actually waiting to see Rand Nerds. Fucking hell.
That's crazy.
There we go.
I even told I was like 30 odd people on one of my streams a minute ago. I was like, yeah, we're calling it Around Nerds. An hour passes and we still haven't gone live.
Well, evening, guys. We were delayed, not due to glorious Kim being stuck in traffic, but through miscommunication. I take no blame for anything at all.
Or me. It's all Skazz's fault.
It's all my fault.
Look at that framing. That's awesome framing.
Is it?
Yeah.
I can't really see it from here, but...
Look at that side view. All you can see is... Oh shit, all you can see is like the side of the screen.
Just sort of see a bit of it, but yeah.
Just do me a favour. Will you please stop putting your tea on the table because it's making noise on the right side. Thank you.
There's a bit of candle away, please.
It's a floor. The floors are one big floors, one massive table.
The floor is lava.
Oh shit.
And you've got feet. Yeah. People watching. Woo! One of us is free people watching.
Record, isn't it?
Yeah, it is actually.
North Korea, South Korea, Russian Federation.
Yeah. I think North Korea, yes. South Korea, probably not. Russian Federation, definitely.
There's no CS:GO or Overwatch or what's that game that everyone plays? Esports? Oh, Dota or
Fortnite
or League. Oh yeah, fucking Fortnite.
Yeah, what is with Fortnite? But everybody keeps asking me if I play Fortnite. I don't even
know what the fuck it is.
It's like a. Is it like sort of like the modern tier 2?
PUBG, isn't it? Like that. Like
Pug actually sounds like quite an interesting concept. I've never played.
I think Fortnite's like a similar thing. From
PUBG.
Gathered, yeah.
Yeah. It's basically the exact same thing with building. Basically, if you want to know what Fortnite is, go and watch it's the 90s film Battle Royale.
Right.
But Minecraft.
But that film is good. And Fortnite is shit. So, watch that film, then lower your expectations by the floor.
What's it called, Fortnite? Can you only play it every 2 weeks? What's the deal with that?
That would be brilliant if that was the case, because then it would go away very quickly. But, no. That was a horde game, wasn't it, at one point? And then they released the Battle Royale.
It was just some like online survival game, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then they
had the Battle Royale mode to it.
Yeah.
Then that's basically Pugbear is basically just a more gamified version of DayZ.
Yeah.
Which is based on a military simulator game. So it's come a long way.
Yeah.
So well, good evening everybody. I'm TheSuffolkRam.
Bad.
Skazz.
And that whole bit will be edited out in the audio version because we can edit this bit in the front, something like that.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to start off with games we've been playing. So I'm playing Farcry and watching Elton Post. I can't say anything this episode.
So what you're going to basically say is go back and watch the last episode to know exactly what Ram's been doing.
I'm going to edit out the bit with me and Tom. I'm going to slot that into this episode again, like a greatest hits. Yeah, and then
Tom just appears and it disappears.
Exactly.
You missed a bend on us.
It's like, how come you're all wearing the same clothes?
Where's Mr. Bean gone?
He's dead. He's dead.
He's
got a headache, so he's dead.
Yeah.
Bless him.
Yeah. Poor excuse. If you're watching, poor excuse. Poor excuse. We've not missed one. I've not missed an episode.
I've missed about a year's worth.
You've missed one.
Have I?
Yeah, episode 42 I think it was. Me and Bard did it in my garage.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Did he miss 2? Did we do another one?
No, just me.
Just the one.
Just the one.
I've missed a couple. Oh my god, my world has been destroyed.
Yeah, of course, yeah, I remember that.
Yes, and then my cold garage with a green screen, but with a green bed linen sheet behind us.
Oh god damn.
Yeah.
All I can remember about that, we should talk about some virus game or something.
Plague Inc. Evolved.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Available on Linux.
Yeah. Available on pretty much everything.
Yes.
So
available on Toasty.
Yeah, but no. Last year we clearly said we didn't miss an episode last year. We didn't have a single one. We were awesome.
You get more punctual when I'm not around. It makes sense.
you say that, fucking still somehow.
Jack says he's missed loads. Well,
Yeah, Jack, you haven't been in millions of them. What's wrong
We're
with you?
on iTunes. You could subscribe and have all the music, all that's in through iTunes, and you could listen to them while you're working.
Apple product? Ugh.
You can download.
That's like the best recipe for suicide I've
the
ever heard.
RSS feed is There's
Nerds at work, like wow.
There's literally about sort of like 3 or 4 days worth of material from all the various episodes. Averaging about 2 hours each. 87 episodes. It's like 160. That's a whole week's worth of. That's like,
the world is officially boned. The only media left. Like, of all the things that humanity has created, the only thing that survived is the Bad Nerds podcast.
That's what in the future, when aliens come down, they excavate my house and find my hard drive, and they find all the saved rant. The only part survived is my Steam account and Rad Nerds.
Oh my god.
And somehow Steam still connects.
Just thinking all that backed up RAM, yeah, there's a double entendre there for you somewhere.
No.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so, but yeah, missing is no excuse. You can subscribe, you can download it, so sorry.
What's Tom's excuse?
Headache.
He's idiot.
I mean,
your word doesn't allow you to get a new job.
Yeah.
Simple.
My boss gets a bit arsy when I start listening to podcasts on the job.
It's not even on list of priorities. It's not even on the list of priorities. What's wrong with these people? These make me your view, isn't it?
Yeah, they're mine. They only view my shit, not this shit.
Wear pies, provide some internet in order to watch live. So it's not even on the list of priorities.
Right.
Disgusting.
Chet sits there and watches me butcher Steins Gate. I sat there and I was reading for nearly 2 hours, missing and fucking up nearly every other word, going nearly every 5 seconds in the stream. And fucking Annie turned up for the Nier Automata stream that I did the other day, where the game was running at 3rd speed.
Yeah. And he watches it when he gets home, so he's forgiven.
Bless him.
Jet isn't forgiven yet, though. But.
Not yet. These are the people that are here. Basically, they're here to. They've been sent in by Kim.
I forgive you, Jet, just to be fucking awkward.
They've been sent in by
I'll
Kim
send a
to make
CD.
sure I don't lose my mind.
I'll send a CD of it all on.
Do you have a CD drive, Jet? No, didn't think so.
Yeah, I'll send you a CD with it all on.
Jet has the most.
I'll send you a vinyl. Wax cylinder.
That'd be amazing.
Anyway, so you know what games you've been playing?
Yeah.
Who's going to go first?
You've been playing Far Cry 5?
Yeah, I have been, yeah. Is
it good? Do you like it?
I'm in 37 hours in now, and I've only done 2 areas of the 3.
Right.
3 main areas anyway.
Right.
And,
how long is this game supposed to be?
I was quite long, because I've nearly spent more. I think Far Cry 3, I spent, total 52 hours on.
Right.
And if this carries on the same way, I'm going to probably be beating Far Cry 3's time. And
You're probably going to be beating Far Cry 5 next year.
Far Cry Primal, the last one I played, I played for 41 hours, so I've nearly caught up with Far Cry Primal.
What have you been doing?
Playing Far Cry 5, that's what I've been doing. And watching Middlemeister the Tempo. And working.
Well, okay, fair enough. So what you're saying is there's actually content there, you're not just stood there going, look at that mountain.
Oh, there's been a bit of that. Well, because I've got the wingsuit now, I can climb to high ground, just jump off things and fly about a bit. That's quite fun.
It's played Pilot Wing 64, isn't it?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Great game.
Yeah. I mean, but there's collectibles, which I don't like, but they're there. And then
Have you got many of them?
Yeah, I've got most of them now, yeah. Because like you can buy, one of the things with Far Cry is, say the paying out the collectibles, you can just buy a map for like cheap price, and it just shows you where they all are.
A crayon and just mark them.
Yeah, it's like this.
Not like these old school games. You have to draw your own maps.
It's like there's the mission where I'm trying to recover whiskey barrels. She says, "Oh yeah, my great grandfather hid loads of whiskey barrels in this lake everywhere, and I've been searching them. Can you go find them? If you find them all for me, then immediately you just go shop and buy a map which shows you where they all are." Right, okay. She obviously didn't go to that shop then because they're saving the problem.
You do know that Barry over there in the old shop there, he's got a map. He sent his kids down every other day.
He's hiding it. No, I don't.
Yeah, bought the map for like $2,000 and away I went. I've got a helicopter now and that's fun, so I'm trying to blow things up. And
please tell me the helicopter costs less than the map.
Yeah, hey, I was got to that's all $7,000. I thought it was quite a bargain. I've got rockets and machine guns on it.
Oh, God damn.
And the rockets aren't just when you fire, it says fire rockets, you think it's going to fire a couple, it fires about 20. It's like,
the ammo bill at the end of the month is going to get quite expensive.
Oh, well, you can refill the ammo for $1,000 while you're in flight. It's like your reload button, just you pay $1,000 out of your account, not real money.
What are you doing? Stuffing like pound coins in the fucking.
It's change dispenser.
Starts emptying his wallet
go,
with the fucking machine gun.
It's like, oh yeah, trouble is there are certain missions like you can. It says, oh, you need to hunt this really rare, like sort of dangerous moose that's got mad because they've been feeding it drugs. It's gone mad. It's got like red glowing eyes, and so you just fly over with a helicopter, wait for it to come out, and just go. Oh, it's dead. I succeeded. Oh, oh my word! He's got a fry up.
Thanks. I guess.
There you go.
Thanks, wifey.
There you go. Skazz eating. So yeah, apart from that,
that's not happened yet. This is now coming.
Anybody's got his own Game Boy flash carts working again.
Good job.
So it's found a USB transfer that actually works. I having to merge the arrows you're running on a molecular level.
What kind of flash card is it? Is it Easy Flash?
So it's based on an old EMS flasher, but it's all one neat package with a GUI and everything.
Oh right, neat.
Absolutely that means something to you, so that's fine. Cool.
That's pretty. That's pretty.
All I've got for you for the last phase is just you sat there with your knife and fork in your hand like that. But you can't see your food, so it just looks like you're just going to sort of like stab somebody.
Eating bits of his legs.
Yeah. When he picks that frog up, it looks like a bit of his leg.
It's like a
slice of leg.
Oh dear.
I assume this is meat.
It is a bit questionable looking, isn't it?
Hang on one second.
I thought that was Remy the Black Pudding for a bit.
Is this meat? Oh, hang on, it's a bit. It's potentially dead.
Still alive.
Yeah.
It's like
I'm pretty sure that's well and truly dead.
Cool. Most things on this plate are dead now.
Well, I think so, yeah. I mean, I think very well she cooks off it.
What's even worse is that because you can't see my plate, you're just staring at my crotch.
This thing that must be mostly charred and dead. Sitting on
the fact, we're now 13 minutes into this podcast, and so far we've discussed your crotch, lunch, what everybody's been up to,
Farcry,
and Far Cry 5, which we discussed last time. So quickly, right, as he's eating, and Barge, you have to go first.
Right, okay. I have been mostly this week.
I've been mostly. Yeah,
I thought that was what I would go for. I'd go for it. This week, I've been mostly playing lots of CRPGs. I've been going back through a couple of games in my backlog that I've had. I picked up an old one, which I was discussing with you guys last week, which is a game called Arcanum, which I always really wanted to play, but never got round to. And there's a game I bought at launch, actually, and then I got sick when I bought it, so I didn't play it, and just kind of forgot about it. And I've gone back and played that, and that game is Divinity Original Sin 2.
Was that the one on Linux? No, that's the enhanced edition, that's the first one, isn't it?
Yeah, we've talked about the Division edition.
Yeah, it's really good. So yeah, I can talk of either of those if you wish. Like,
can we play three?
Yes.
Can you play 3-player on Divinity Original Sin, the first one? Or is it only 2-player?
You can on the new one.
Oh well, yeah, the new one ain't on Linux, so fuck that.
Oh well.
Go on.
Right, okay, Arcanum I'll begin with then. Arcanum is a game by Troika Studios, which anyone that sort of knows Troika knows they make very good games. Unfortunately, they've only made...
A message.
Sky News telling me something's happened.
Kim.
They've only ever made 3 games, sadly, before they went under. Troika are a company that were founded by 2 original members of Interplay, if anyone remembers Interplay.
Oh, right, yeah.
Did a lot of good games back in the day. The 2 guys that did it, one of them is one of the main dudes that worked on the original Fallout games. So Troika's games are very much along those lines, because Troika's 3 games are Arcanum, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, which everybody knows I'm a big fan of.
I knew I was recognising the name from somewhere. I was trying to work up where I was.
And their final game's Temple of Elemental Evil, which I've also never played, but it's supposed to be quite good.
I thought Vampire was their last game, so I thought that's why they never got patched.
Vampire was their last game, but Temple of Elemental Evil is another game that they did that I haven't played. But yeah, they've always been quite well renowned, but unfortunately they always end up making games for big companies like EA who rush games out the door. So their games always launch really buggy and never really have a chance to finish them. So most from all 3 of them, I'd assume. I know Vampire and Arcanum both have dedicated fan patches.
I was going to say that they
fix the game and just allow you to play them on modern systems and all sorts of stuff. But But yeah, I picked it up after sort of wanting to play it for ages, really, and thought it's about time I give that a go. And I have to say, I am very pleasantly surprised. It's a very, very good game. I'd say it's actually one of the best CRPGs, hands down. It's very unique as well. It's the basic premise is it's called Arcanum of Steamworks and Magick Obscura. So it's like Tolkien-esque fantasy set in more of an 18th century setting than the 14th century setting. So we're looking at Victorian era steam kind of powered things, but with elves and dwarves and orcs and stuff. The entire soundtrack is done by a string orchestra, and it's really, really good. Yeah, it's fantastic music, really quite pleasant to listen to. Basic premise of the game is you create a character, as you always do in these kind of games. It plays very similar to the first two Fallout games, but the combat system isn't as good, sadly. But your basic premise is you make your character, you can pick from an elf, a human, a dwarf, a half-orc, a half-ogre, a gnome, and a halfling, I think.
Pretty much all the D&D classes.
Yeah, all the classic D&D races and humans, obviously. I stereotypically went for the elf.
Can't trust elves.
I always play as elves, I don't know why, just elves always seem to be what... Either elves or humans,
to be fair,
usually.
you used to look like an elf.
Obviously, I don't anymore. That's
Well,
quite
you
a
used
good
to have
thing.
hair down here.
Yeah.
I've never seen an elf with short hair.
No, well, I don't know. They do sometimes, don't they? But very rarely.
Yeah.
But I picked an elf because elves, depending on which sort of race you pick, your starting stats are slightly different. They all have like around. I think humans are sort of your base class, so they have 8 in everything. So you've got like your strength, constitution, dexterity, yada yada yada. So they sort of start of 8 in everything. The other classes all have variations of, but with extra things. So elves, I think, have less strength and constitution, but they've got high dexterity and higher intelligence, and they've got the highest magical aptitude out of all the races. So I want to make a mage. And one of the interesting things about this game is it's got the classic kind of good and evil system that these games have. So if you do good things, people will like you. If you do bad things, people won't like you. And you can have sort of different companions if you do evil compared to if you do good. Different people will join you. It's
so completely not like Fallout 3 or 4 then?
Kind of the same sort of bag, really. But there's
Fallout
the new ones, not
Fallout
like
1 and 2.
Yeah, because you can just have anybody in the new ones, can't you?
Hey, let's just destroy this entire thing. That's all good.
Yeah.
Everyone's happy with it.
I'm the Holy Paladin. I'm quite happy to kill these innocents. I don't care, you know.
GG. In Fallout 1 and 2, there's some actual stuff in there.
So yeah, I kind of built a character around magic, and you can pick backgrounds at the beginning. So you've got like a list of. These are cool because I like these kind of things because they really add to role playing. So you can pick from stuff like a sheltered child, and if you're a sheltered child, you've got little charisma because you're just a stroppy little shit. But you've got, I think it's higher intelligence because you work at home all the time, so you've read more kind of thing. There's some really neat ones.
There you go, that's me.
There's Frankenstein's monster is one of them, so you can be like an actual sort of science experiment, or you can be an escaped lunatic.
Skazz.
And some of the all the different races have different ones. One of my favourites you can pick. You can pick to have.
One that looks like it's like you're repeatedly stabbing yourself in the crotch on this.
One of the
repeatedly eating like.
All you see is like this knife go in and some come up.
Eating parts of himself. Cannibalism. He is an escaped lunatic.
That's what I mean.
One of my favourite ones you can pick is special person, and if you're special person, you basically it's considered that because you're so kind of rubbish at everything, if you do a good thing, you get a better reaction from people.
I was like saying your intelligence to 1.
No, you can have intelligence to 1 though. If you've got a special person, you do have like dumber conversation options. But one of the Steam reviews that sold it to me is just looking through there. He's like, yeah, I made a half ogre, pick special person background, no intelligence. He's fucking great at punching wolves in the face. It's just like brilliant. Like that sounds amazing. Kind of gives you like the spectrum of characters you can make. You can kind of make a load of stuff. My character I picked Charlatan's protege, and that basically means he's fucking crap at fighting. He's got a minus on all of his combat abilities, but he's really, really good at talking to people and really good at he's got high. I think he gets +6 charisma. But mages, their abilities aren't dictated by combat abilities. They're just their own kind of thing. So it doesn't matter that I'm shit at combat. I can still do really well in fights just by casting spells instead of hitting things.
You set fire to things.
But yeah, you kind of basic premises. You start off having survived a blimp crash. You were involved in. You were travelling somewhere. You didn't really get an idea of where.
You caused a crash because you were a special person.
No, one of the backgrounds.
A day trip out.
I think one of the backgrounds is pyromaniac, and it says your character would have entered the blimp with intention to have caused it to blow up, but somebody else did. It gets attacked by half ogres in biplanes, which is interesting. Yeah, half ogres in attack planes shoot you down. You get discovered by a chap called Virgil. He's a priest of this religion called the Panari religion, and he believes that you are basically the second coming of Christ. You're there.
I've got to ask a very important question. Is it meat?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Is it completely meat?
I don't really know.
I think it's partly carbon now.
I think it might be dead.
That's amazing. It's made outside's burnt, but still somehow slightly pink inside. That's impressive. Yeah, carry on.
Soylent meat. Yeah, the interesting thing about Virgil.
Where his kids are gone.
They're awfully quiet. The interesting thing about Virgil is that
the cages.
They're no longer with us.
He's unlike the other characters in the game, he's more kind of affected by stuff you do. So if you do bad things, he sort of starts becoming like you. Whereas the other characters, obviously, if you do bad things, they'll if they're good, they'll complain. They'll say, "No, I'm not happy with this." Or the evil characters will go, "Yeah, go on, stick him again." But this guy, he kind of goes along with whatever you do, and his personality changes based on who you are. But yeah, he believes that you're the second coming of this ancient elf called Nasrudin, and that you're basically him reincarnated. And that's what his religion believes in.
Even if you're a special half ogre.
Even if you're a special half ogre, he still believes it. In fact, if you're a special half ogre, I would advise looking up Virgil's reaction to dumb characters, because it's brilliant, because he treats you like an idiot and just gets really angry with you all the time just because you can't understand anything, which is hilarious, because usually he's quite laid back and easygoing, but when you're dumb he just gets really angry with you, which is quite funny. But I really like the character of Virgil, because as you go through the game you kind of realise he's a bit more integral to the story than anybody else, and there's quite a lot of character to him. There's 2 or 3 other characters you can pick up along the journey that are like that also. There's a lot more, they have a lot more to do with the story, whereas there's other characters that are kind of just side characters that you can pick up, and you can take them with you the whole game, but they don't really impact the story very much. You can normally tell who the important characters are by them being the characters that are voiced. Not every character has voices. Some of them are completely without voice acting, they just have text.
Like in Fallout, you have very few talking heads.
Yeah, pretty much. Same kind of deal here. One of the other first people you can get is a drunken half ogre called Sog Meadmug, and he literally will just join you for buying him a pint. And then I had him for most of the game, and he punched everything for me. So yeah, I bought him a pint in the first pub, and then he followed me all the way across the world, which is quite.
That's how all adventures happen. We have to buy someone a drink down the pub.
The only flaw this game really has.
Next morning, I wake up thinking, "What the hell did I get up to last night? Why am I on a different continent now?"
With that drunken half ogre.
Yeah.
The only problem this game really has, which is a problem with a lot of CRPGs, is combat is atrocious. You don't have any control over your companions. You only really have control over yourself. But I was playing the game, I think I was playing it on normal difficulty. I can't remember if it's on normal or hard, but I only really had trouble where there's one dungeon, which is one of those moments in games where I know if I ever replay it, I'll be like, "Oh, I've got to do that place again," because it's so long and it's filled with enemies that when you hit them they break your weapons and stuff. Annoying. Because they're like golems and that, and it annoys me a little bit because this game tries to be realistic in some respects in having breakable weapons, yet your characters don't suffer any ill effects for not sleeping for days. So it's like, it's a bit strange that they just have, obviously because it's a tricky game and it got rushed out, there wasn't enough time for them to implement some of these things.
To be fair, there are a lot of games that have breakable weapons but don't touch you for sleeping.
Yeah. But yeah, it seems like it's tried to be realistic in some ways and not so much in others. But I forgive it because the game itself is really fun. Like, the story is really good. It's got a very good story. Characters are very engaging. The world itself is very well realised. I just found that I was enjoying much of my time with it. It seems that there's quite a variety on what you can do as well. As a mage, there's a ton of different spells that you can pick from, and playing around with them is quite fun. But you can choose instead to go the technology route, and if you go technology, you can build stuff instead. You find schematics for weapons and armour and stuff that you can build yourself, which is pretty cool. And you can do alchemy and things if you're more technology based. So it kind of rewards multiple playthroughs for having different characters. Also, depending on how high you are on the magic or technological aptitude, people treat you differently. So I'm now so high on the magical aptitude that shopkeepers in blacksmith shops and techno shops don't serve me at all, because they're like, if you come in, your magic's going to disrupt all our tech. We don't want it, don't come in, don't buy our stuff. So I kind of like that. Apparently, if you've got a really high haggle ability, you can surpass that. You're just so good at being a merchant that you can just talk people around. But I haven't got that. The only outside ability I picked was persuasiveness, I think. Apparently, I haven't finished the game yet, but I had read that it's one of these games where if you're really good at talking, if you build your character to be clever and talkative, you can talk the end boss out of being the end boss and basically convince him of your way of thinking, and
kind of like
Fallout 1 did with the Master. Yeah, which I like. I like that kind of thing. I think New Vegas did it as well, didn't it? With Legate Lanius, you can talk him into
you can
retreating, can't you?
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of dig that, because I tend to enjoy playing more talky focused characters. Mainly because it seems kind of like that dual role as the main character. Like with the other sub characters, you've got guys that can fight for you and do things for you, and it just kind of, I kind of tend to enjoy those kind of playthroughs, and this game gives you the opportunity to do that, which is pretty good. I'm trying to think what else I can really say about it, really.
Are there any characters that don't have talky heads or voice acting?
Yeah, there's tons.
That are important to the story. Or have more sway in the story.
I don't think there's any that are important to the story. No. Actually, no. There are. There are characters not inside your party. There are characters you'll talk to that are important to the story that won't say stuff. The big players will tend to say stuff, the boss characters, and some of the more story integral ones. But there are a couple here and there that don't really seem to have voices or anything. But yeah, it's. I'm trying to think what else to say about it, really. If you kind of dig any other CRPG, you'll like it pretty much. It's in the same vein as Fallout, Planescape Torment, Baldur's Gate, and all those kind of things.
Did you need to jump through many hoops, seeing as it is such an old game? I know you said there was a fan patch, but if you were to download it from Steam directly,
I had to jump through.
Just work?
No, you do need to patch it. I had to jump through a few hoops. But once I did try to get an HD patch to work, but I couldn't get it to function, and I couldn't be asked with it. So what I ended up doing was, and again, if you look at the patch up, you'll find that there's 2 or 3 different things you can add to the game.
Right.
But when you add them, you have to do them in a certain order, otherwise it doesn't really work.
Okay.
So there are a few little technical hiccups like that, but if you find a guide, if you look the guide up, it'll instantly just tell you what ones to have. I think the only ones I got were, I picked the big fan patch, which fixes all the bugs and stuff and adds some content back into the game. I had one that made the maps higher quality, because the maps look really bad on modern systems, and I think I got an updated soundtrack one, which gives you like a slightly better sound quality.
Sure.
Sounds good either way. Sounds really good. I've noticed that the HD pack, from watching people play it online, is really good, because you can see the game far more zoomed out. I'm playing it at a different camera angle. It's more zoomed in, but either way, it still looks really nice. It's one of those games that doesn't seem to have been too badly affected by age. I think it came out in 2002 or something like that.
Alright.
But it still looks really nice because it's kind of artistic looking, so it's not got any real drawbacks in how it looks. Yeah, I really like the way they've managed to bring fantasy into 18th century, because obviously there's a lot of these sort of steampunk games, and I don't really like many of them. I love, obviously, like Nick, the Thief games, which did do it really well.
You said it has to be either heavily steampunk or it has to be fantasy. The crossover doesn't normally work.
I think the only way the crossover can work is if it's not too... Okay, the best way I put it is...
can't be too... The fantasy's got... both sides can't be too OTT.
Yeah. Like,
so Thief, the fantasy part of Thief, there are gods in it, and there are magical users in it, but they're very few and far between, and the magic powers they have aren't like earth-shattering. And likewise, the steampunk things aren't.
In this, it's actually opposite. The tech and the magic are both kind of earth-shattering, but the interesting thing about the world is magic's kind of dying out and tech is replacing it. The base story goes... be a couple of spoilers here, but it's not anything too big, is that you've come across a character who is a rich old human guy, and you find out that he was really interested in dwarf technology, and he befriended a clan of dwarves, and the dwarves kind of view humans as like children. They're like they don't have an understanding of tech, and the elves are the same. The elves view humans like children as well, because the elves sort of live in the woods and have big woodland cities and lots of magic power, and humans are kind of middle road, and the dwarves have lots of tech. But the dwarves, one dwarf let this guy mess around with an engine, so he took the engine and built something out of it. And then this dwarf entire clan goes missing, and it's surmised that they've been kind of kicked out of the kingdom because they allowed this guy to mess around with tech, and now the humans have technology, and the humans are basically quickly building up into an industrial revolution. And it kind of broke out into war where the industrial city that this guy lives in grew to such power that it started overrunning all the other cities, and some of the other cities sort of lived more like medieval kingdoms, and they kind of just got trounced and put under. So there's kind of a lot of disparity between the races, because the dwarves and the elves are a bit sketchy. The elves currently have like a bit of a duality thing going on with some of them are like racist, and they hate the other races and think, well, they don't hate the other races, they just think that the other races should be completely lorded over by the elves. And
usually the way.
So they're called dark elves, these elves, and those dark elves, there's kind of a split between them as well, and some of them just want to lord over humans and that, and some of them want to mistreat them. Some of them are just batshit and they're fed up with the way humanity and dwarves and stuff have been messing with everything, whereas the other elves are just kind of decent, and they live out in the woods, and they're like, alright, we've understood that technology is doing its thing, so what we'll do is we'll take magic into the woods, and we'll keep our magic going in other areas, so that they kind of identify that there's room in the world for both. Whereas there's obviously a lot more of a problem going on here, and I kind of really like that aspect of it. What I don't like in steampunk stuff is I always describe it as cogs on hats, like stuff that doesn't make sense. I like it to at least have some grounding, not in reality. There's got to be
technology there, but it's got to be useful.
Exactly, yeah, not just be kind of ridiculous Wild West crap, you know. Like it's got to be kind of functional.
You've got to sort of look sort of Victorian era, sort of Industrial Revolution, where everything was like ornate and TT, but it was functional.
Yeah, how I'd actually compare this game to Thief, and the reason I really like it in comparison to why I really like Thief, is Thief does gritty, dark kind of version of this really well. This game's a lot more Dickensian almost. It's got this very highbrow feel to it, with the string orchestra and everything as well. It feels very much like you're almost playing classic British literature into this kind of into this world. There's lots of open fields and nice places and environments and stuff in it, so it almost brings out the nicer side of almost 18th century English society that you don't normally... You do see it, but it's not normally what's associated with it, is it? We kind of associate 18th century and Victorian stuff with being kind of depressing and gloomy a lot of the time, and sort of other sources of literature will focus on the brighter side of it, and it kind of brings that over. It's got a much lighter feel to the world, I would say, than Thieves. It feels a lot more ordered, a lot more... Well, I mean, in Thief, you kind of feel like anything could just go wrong at any minute, can't you? With all the stuff that's essentially happening in the city. Whereas this game feels a lot more like there's more powers at play that have control over what's going on. Nothing's going to go tits up overnight kind of thing. It just is a case of this magic technology imbalance. But yeah, I highly rate it. It's a really, really good game. I'm really glad I managed to pick it up and go through it. I'm quite looking forward to finishing it actually, so I can give people an update on how good the end and stuff is. But yeah, fantastic game. Easily up there with games like Planescape and Baldur's Gate and all the other classic CRPG games.
How much did it cost you?
£5.
It's all
So
good.
yeah, not bad
It's
at all.
on GOG as well.
Yeah, it's on GOG and it's on Steam. Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool. Skazz, you can play anything?
Annoyingly, I've been playing a lot of stuff, and I was hoping that Tom was here so I could shout at him. But he's not, so I'll skip
Did you
that.
play? Did you do it? Did you play it?
No, I haven't. I haven't played that yet. That is coming, so I will be shouting at people for that too. But no, I wanted to shout at him about Nier Automata.
Did you not like Nier Automata then?
Look, it's right. I'm gonna have a little rant about it now because I have played a fair bit.
Good stuff.
I've been playing it for about. Because I'm not going to go into great detail about it because Tom has already spoken about it in detail, and I don't really want to spoil too much of the story because it is a story critical game.
Oh yeah, like the last one before it.
Yeah, but it's got top-down shooter elements, side-scroller shooter elements. It's got action combat, so like God of War style combat, so action RPG combat. It has standard RPG leveling up and stuff like that, side quests, all this fluff.
Does any of the fluff feel like it's forced though, or does it feel like
all of it?
Yeah.
But it's kind of common for these games to feel this way. And
I think the original Nier suffered from similar things. Even though it was a really good game, it had a lot of...
Well, can I spoil something in Nier for anyone that hasn't played it? So
cover your ears.
In Nier, and it's the same with most of this kind of group's games, that I can't remember the person who wrote the story to be fair, but when you first play through Nier, you feel like you're a good guy.
Yeah.
And you're like, yes, I'm doing everything for a reason, it's just
Interestingly,
and I'm right.
just to throw in there, the first Nier is different in Japan to how it is in the West. In the West, you're a father trying to save his daughter, aren't you?
Yeah.
Whereas in Japan, you're a brother trying to save his sister.
Something to that
Yeah.
effect.
Because the idea being that the Japanese wanted an androgynous looking young male character, whereas they recognise the American audience doesn't tend to like that so much, or the Western audience, so they made him a big gruff.
Well, they had
manly dude, didn't they?
had two versions, didn't they? 'Cause
Yeah.
you had Nier and Nier Gestalt.
Yeah, just A, isn't it? That's
Or
the,
whatever
yeah,
it
that's
is.
the Japanese version, isn't
Yeah,
it?
but there was an English.
Oh, can you get an English version?
Yeah, there was an English patch
Alright.
for the PS3. Most people pronounce it Gestalt.
Is it
which
Gestalt
weird.
or I don't know?
I don't know, but still. Either way, so you play through the first part round, you're like, yes, I'm a good guy. But then when you play it through a second time round, you start to get little snippets of the bad guy side of the story, and it actually turns out that you're a murderous bastard.
But you're not, from what I remember of it, you're unaware that you're a murderous bastard.
Well, yeah, for
aren't you?
sure. But
Like, you think the things you're killing
Yeah.
are bad, but they're not.
What the
are they?
game tries to do is it kicks you in the feels, and Nier Automata does the exact same thing right off the bat.
Bit of a one-trick pony kind of thing. Then.
And yeah, I mean, I don't remember much of anything about Nier. I didn't really
I remember,
play.
one big thing I remember about Nier, because I loved it, was the talking book.
See, I don't remember a great deal about it. I remember
Wild
next to
Voice.
I remember next to that, but that was such a long time
It was
ago.
ages
what,
ago,
10 years ago or something
It was
like
like it was near the start of the PS3's release, wasn't it?
that. So it does that very quickly. I mean, we've all played so many games from so many different genres, pretty much every trope in gaming and whatever. We've seen it at some point. So there's very little that a game can do to really surprise me unless it Spec Ops The Line, because that just fucking threw me a curveball halfway through and I was like, oh, that's a bit. Whereas Nier, every time someone says something or does something, I'm like, nah, this is a bit suspect. I've seen something like this before. Now that's not necessarily a bad thing, but a fair few people I know bigged up this game something mental, and it's gone and fallen victim to the same thing that like Breath of the Wild did. It's just not quite at that level for me. The combat's fine. You know, you've got bullet cancelling, like in one that everyone will know is like oh shit, I forgot now. The spaceship shooter on the Dreamcast that everyone absolutely loves, where you can change polarity.
Oh, I've got the damn game and I can't even think the name of it. The treasure one.
Yeah, I forgot what it's called now. Fucking Annie will know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I think
you switch from white to black, don't you? It's a fucking good game. Ikaruga, that's the one.
So you can cancel. You can have bullet hell segments, but you can cancel out certain bullets in it, which I think you can do in Nier as well.
I think so, yeah.
Because you'd have like little mini kind of bullet hell segments in that too, but not in a spaceship. From what I remember.
No,
like, enemies would fire at you with different colour balls. And
and you had like a side-scrolling bit in that as well, didn't you? And over the top puzzle bits and stuff. Yeah, I remember doing all that.
Yeah. So you know, there are lots of bits about the game that are pretty good, but it's nothing really new if you've played a wide variety of games.
Yeah.
And because I'm constantly questioning everything. A lot of people are like, oh, well, that was surprising. It's like, so they've played the game. I've already played it for 7 hours. I've barely gone through a third of the story, but I'm already starting to pick massive holes in it.
Yeah.
And so I was having a chat with someone. I was like, oh, have you done blah, blah, blah yet? I was like, how long did that take you to figure out? How did you not notice the subtle hints right at the fucking start of the game? Like, that all of this was going to happen. Like, well, because it's like, it's fucking right there. It's a massive billboard saying, shit's going to get real right now. There were 2 points in the game so far where I've gone, whoa. Or, like, I've actually, like, jumped out of my seat excited.
Right.
And one of them is it's really stupid, like, 'cause the commander of the bunker of your army is basically like, yes! Shit's hitting the fan, get in there, we need all of our units to go and defend the city or the resistance or what the fuck ever they are. So you and your support character run in there, just you and your support character, problem solved. The fucking huge thing just smashes down a wall as you're climbing up this building, which kind of like, oh shit, it's about to wreck me. But it's the exact same kind of machine that you kill at the start of the game.
Okay.
So I was just like, oh, I'll just do exactly what I did the first time I fought one of these then. Woo! 1! Is this going to keep going then? Oh wait, mission's over. Now what do I do then? So that, I was like really hyped and then
bit anticlimactic.
Yeah, I fell right back down. And then there was another one where I was doing a mission for a character who's just like, I'm really worried about such and such a character, can you go find out what happened to this character? And depending on what what happens, you can find out what happens, and then you can go and answer a question from this character. You can either tell her everything that happens, or you can kind of go easy on it. If you go easy on it, she's happy, she's kind of like, okay, I'm going to become a combat android in the spirit of you and my partner or whatever. But if you tell her the truth of what goes down, she basically goes, oh, she was a fucking bitch, piece of shit motherfucker, you take all the crap, I don't want anything to do with her, I'm glad she died, you're all a pathetic scum. And I was like, well, fuck me, that went a bit mental.
So, like, it's almost, it's the option you give her that drastically different, you know, like, to garner that reaction?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Well, it is. Like, so she thinks that the person was brave. She was a combat android, like the main character that you play as at the start of the game. Right. Spoiler, if you don't want to know.
I'm not listening.
The character that you're looking for was someone who started the mission with you. Well, have you ever played the start of Musha? On the Mega Drive, where you've got like the 5 units flying in to take out the heavy moving base, and then they all get shot down except you, and then you go off to...
On the Mega Drive?
Yeah.
Musha? No, I don't think I've ever played that.
Musha's fucking amazing. Anyway, the intro to Nier Automata is fucking Musha.
Right.
So, this unit gets shot down, you go find her, and it turns out that she's absolutely fucking terrified. For a combat android, she's freaking the fuck out, she's going to die, she knows she's going to die, she wants to desert the mission.
Right.
But if you tell the other android this, she's like, well, what a piece of shit.
Yeah.
She was always so hard on me. Fucking, and I'm not even a combat android. Fuck her.
Yeah.
What a piece of shit. She died by herself. Fucking worthless piece of shit. Glad she fucking suffered. And I was like, okay then. So there's little bits like that, but the main story doesn't interest me. The characters don't interest me. Like the main two characters that are really trying to push the story do not interest me.
I have to admit, that was actually one of the reasons I didn't pick it up. I had looked at it for a while and I did want to get it, but I did sort of. I mean, I understand that the whole draw them characters is they're meant to be like kind of almost personality-less androids, aren't they? That's what they're
one of them is a combat android who is literally just focused on war, and the other one's a very kind of talkative asshole.
Everything I saw of it just made me think, I'll get it when it's in a sale. That's always the idea I've had with Nier Automata. It's just been like, I'll get it when it goes on sale. I won't bother with it, sort of, straight up. But interesting.
It does a Nier thing where if you play through it. See, I haven't finished it, but one of my mates has finished it, and so I've been talking to them about it. When you go through it the second time, you get extra bits of story.
Right.
Just like you do, you get a second perspective from in Nier, where you find out where the bad guys aren't necessarily the bad guys, and you're a dick. But I don't really care. None of the character that you have to play as in the second part of the story, I hate.
Yeah.
I hate.
There's nothing worse than having to be a character you don't like.
He's a whiny little shit.
We all remember Metal Gear Solid 2.
Just don't.
And yet then again, when Raiden returned, he was my favourite Metal Gear Solid character.
Yeah, there you go.
Favourite protagonist, I should say.
It takes a while for people to mature, but in this game I can't see that character getting any better. He's a whiny bitch. And then there's always like, oh, but look, like the game is basically about the human condition.
Right.
And I don't care. They throw all these innocent robots in front of me. I was like, should I kill him? Shouldn't I kill him? Right, well I'm playing as a combat android. You're fucking dead, man.
Kill them all.
And then I was like, well I didn't kill him because I felt guilty. It's like, what's fucking wrong with you, pussy? It's like, Jesus fucking Christ. Or, what about the opera singer? She was so obsessed with being beautiful. Don't care, just killed her. But the music was beautiful in that part. Was it really? Made me want to fucking vomit. The sooner I got her killed, the happier I was. Fucking... It just doesn't work on me.
Maybe it's just not your kind of game then, I guess. It's like... I
like the side missions. I like the resistance and having to do like little missions for them. But I just don't like the fact that the game is trying to make me feel guilty. Because I don't. It's like, oh, you should feel bad for these people.
It's one of those games that does appeal to those people that have the feels for reals kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't give a toss.
Yeah.
I'll probably cry halfway through.
Probably. It's like, but then there's so many subtle hints that there are so many things wrong. Like, should I be trusting?
If games make me be the bad guy, I embrace being the bad guy and go full.
Yeah, sure, that's it. I go fucking full evil on it. But
Black Omen was one of my favourite games for a long time for a reason, like
the game is almost like you're going through it and it's planting seeds. Like, should I trust that person? Should I be killing that group? Should I be aiding that group?
Yeah.
Why are you saying things the way with the tone that you're saying them? Why does it seem like you're trying to hide something from me as the player, but not so much from the character? I'm almost reading everything in, and I must be barely a third into the game.
Do you think you might have been doing that because of from playing Nier, or is it just the game would do that to you anyway?
I'm like that with a lot of games. I tend to pick out things that I've seen in other titles.
Yeah.
Not just Nier, but like there's a part where one of the characters is referring to another character. Characters tend to have a number and a letter.
Yeah.
And so your character is 2B. So just imagine they go 2.
So
they come walking in all cheerful.
You're a
like,
pencil, basically.
yeah. They're walking all cheerful and like, hey, 2! B. And you're like, why was that difficult for you to come out with the last part there? What are you hiding from me? And that's the kind of thing that's going for me.
Like you're actually 2C or 2A, but
yeah, like what?
Other shit is going on.
Am I really? Wait, what? What? That kind of thing really grinds on me because I pick up on it, but a lot of people
It's just got to throw in now. One of the only things I've seen of the characters in there is shit tons of pornography of it just appear all over the internet, and I was like, what? Like,
yeah, pretty much.
That's pretty much what the game is, isn't it? It's just got like all these. Because although you're a combat droid, you basically look like a fucking blindfolded maid, don't you? That's the main look at it. It's weird.
Look, character designs are brilliant. The music is okay. The sound design is absolutely fucking gorgeous.
It's a Nier game. The last game had brilliant sound.
You know, it's like the atmosphere. If you took away the music, I would be just as happy with it.
Yeah.
Because some of the soundtrack makes me want to choke people. It's not a bad soundtrack. Like, I really love the 8-bit soundtrack. There's parts of the soundtrack that are in 8-bit.
But the actual sound effects and the atmospherics in like areas and stuff you're talking about.
I really like that. But then when some of the tracks have like just really crappy Japanese vocals. Some of them are like, well, there's one part of it's almost like there's children singing. And it's like, oh, but it's supposed to make you feel innocence and stuff. I was like, fuck them. They're dead. And at one point...
That's a jumping conclusion.
And at one point, the game was fucking...
I think he means that they were singing as he'd killed characters.
Well, no, I'm supposed to feel guilty for the characters that have just died, but I don't. I don't give a shit.
Do you think that's either that they're not doing enough to make you feel guilty for them?
It probably doesn't help that song had got stuck on loop. Because the game is notoriously fucking buggy, and that song was stuck, and it was just the same loop. I was like, you ever seen Beverly Hills Cop 3 where they fucking blow up the fucking theme park and he's screaming in the middle of it, turn that fucking song off? That was basically me. I'm in a village of innocent robots, and all I want to do is kill everything so the music changes.
Nice.
It's not a bad game, but because I keep picking holes in the story, I think I'm almost ruining it for myself by...
Maybe just sort of try and play it with a more just relaxed attitude.
I can't, I need to murder everything. I don't trust anyone in that game at all, because everyone comes across as really fucking dodgy.
I guess that's kind of what they were going for, maybe. They are just trying to make you feel as if you're on edge all the time, because...
Probably, but that's not what anyone else seems to have got.
Does the character act like that? Like, does the 2B character act as if she doesn't really trust anybody?
She's a bit... Right, so she's supposed to be a hard ass, but she's a bit of a bleeding heart to this other character that I hate. What's his name? 9S?
Right.
So he's like a hacker robot. He's a scout. So all he does is normally just look around and find shit and analyse it.
Doesn't do anything at all. Yeah.
He's a useless wanker who he's an emo. He's a whiny little bitch, but she's kind of got a thing for him. But she's a combat droid, so you know she probably.
It's very typically sort of Japanese.
Yeah, and it makes you want to fucking vomit. Things will start to go shithouse pretty quick, and the characters do start to change, but not enough. Like I already figured this shit was going to happen.
Yeah.
So I'm not really bothered. And one of my mates was like, "Oh, but there's that robot, and it's a child." It's like, yes, and now it's dead. So it's like, but didn't you feel bad about it? I was like, why? Why would I feel bad for it? It's a fucking robot, and it's just tried to kill me. Now it's fucking dead.
We know who's going to get killed first. The robots rise up.
Yeah, there you go. And
all those people who see the Boston Dynamics all being mean to the robots and go, "Oh, poor Fane, they're fine."
Yeah.
Him.
Oh no, I wanted to punch the bloke. I wanted to punch the bloke there. You know, when they were trying to kick the little robot.
Big dog.
It was just you don't do that.
Well, we talk about
Boston Dynamics.
What is that? The robot that was.
So big. It's called Big Dog. So one sort of 4 legs that walks about.
Yeah, and then they kick it to try and make it fall over.
And it stumbles there, but it looks scarily human when it stumbles.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'd have punched the geezer.
Uncanny Valley shit.
They had a newer one, and it comes up and tries to open a door, and the guy basically tries to stop opening the door, and it looks like it's getting quite annoyed of him actually. I was just waiting for them just to let go, turn and just grab him in the nuts and rip him off.
So doing a 209 on him.
Yeah.
I recommend people play the game, but I need to talk to Tom to actually find out what it is that I'm supposed to like, because so far, after
I think you've got a heart of stone. That's what
7 to 9 hours in, I just don't give a shit. I already know that my boss is crooked as fuck. The androids and the robots, so far from what I figured out, are fighting for no fucking
Getting
reason.
some humorous comments there.
Go on, Annie.
Bard, you're great, but my completely covers my face. Exactly.
Getting limpid.
You are. He's right. You have to speak completely behind the microphone.
Yeah, you have.
Oh dear.
It's like 1 minute you were to the side when you just started to drift it.
I can't help it. I just orbit limpid. It's just
Oh dear.
I'd recommend everyone try the game. If you look around, you can get it for as little as like 16 quid. I'd say it's probably worth 16 quid. I felt ripped off paying 20 for it.
That's not the kind of game that would be worth that much. Like
the combat's fine, albeit it feels a bit slow at times.
Is it just like your average kind of DMC kind of thing? Yeah.
For combat, then you've got obviously like your bullet hell style stuff and cancelling that. You've got little hacking mini games later on in the game, which are kind of neat.
How am I going to avoid this microphone? I'm just sitting here like how. I can see the screen from here, but can I get past the microphone? Probably not.
Just move towards Skazz and you'll be better for audio.
As long as you get towards the green pillar, you're pretty much good to go. So I see why some people like it, but if you've played as many games as I have, none of the stuff that they're trying to do to make me feel bad is new. Or none of the things that they're trying to...
It's working.
None of the things they're trying to hide, they're not hiding it well enough if you've played enough games. So...
yeah.
Whatever.
Cool.
That's my thoughts on Nier. Tom, why do you like this game? Stewie 3D, why do you like this game? Bad, play it for fuck's sake, so I know that I'm not going insane.
Right, if I can get on sale or something, I'll grab hold of it and give it a go.
Maybe it's just because the people I've spoken to only really play AAA games, so they haven't really experienced that kind of twist before.
Yeah, because it comes. That sort of thing happens in loads of Jack games, doesn't it? They do love their throwing you off joke like tropes, don't they? Where they make you think you're a good guy or whatever.
It's just like, but I don't care. I can't help it.
I have no soul.
I just don't care.
Our power baton needs to be Mike more this way.
Yeah, like there we go. So Pat's just moving left and right on the sofa.
There we go.
Matt Turner has 2 phones now, blocked himself out.
Oh, that'd be very impressive, wouldn't it? So we've got a couple of comments. We've been asked if anyone been playing KCD, which I'm assuming is Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Oh no, I really want to though.
Same here. I've
been on my wishes for ages. I remember when it first came out.
I haven't played the beta because I played the.
I
got the beta for that.
I'm blocked again. No, I've been in for this.
Yeah. I got the beta for it, and it was very, very buggy. And horrific
has
voice acting and absolutely horrific voice
acting.
A
friend of mine has the main game, but apparently he said it's really good.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick up. What I would like to know is have they fixed the sword combat? Because sword combat was horrific to do because you had to like when I played it.
It's getting ready to do a sword impression. That
yeah, this is how you fight with a sword. You
can't get the helmet on, young Jedi.
What you had to do? Have you seen the video of the cats, the Yoda doll? There's a Yoda doll. It's got sort of bounces around with a sword. It sort of bounces round. And so I put it amongst their 2 cats, and the cats keeps all ducking and diving out above its way, and so it says, learning to use the Force. So what you do is when you target something, you had like a star with like 5 points on it.
Then you have to go for
and you had to like move your mouse to like select which segment you wanted to strike from.
I think that's still the same.
Yeah, see, that was horrific because what I discovered was, which I never realised, when I use a sword in a Kapur game, I actually move slightly in the direction of striking. So if I if my sword always strikes that way, I tend to always move the mouse slightly to the left, which means that when I used to go to fight, I might be targeting like his top right part of the star, but I would instinctually go and target the bottom left. And because when they block, you have to try and sort of miss the blocking.
Yeah.
And it was and the fineness between being from the top to like the top right or the top left was such a small hot spot.
Yeah.
It was very hard to target anything, and I absolutely hated it. It was just so fiddly. And it was just frustrating. So it wasn't fun. It wasn't like I didn't feel like I was going to learn this and be get skills at it. So it just felt frustrating.
Yeah, no, it's just going to always be frustrating every time.
I actually was hoping there would actually be like a little link on up to the menu say switch to arcade mode, so you're just like a normal hack and slash. I honestly
give me my Skyrim control.
Yeah, you part of it, yes, because it's like
I want to hit stuff in the face.
Yeah. Just can't do that. So
and then get fucking blocked out of completing any quest because the game's unfinished.
Yeah.
That was Morrowind.
It was every Elder Scrolls game, I think.
Yeah,
but Skyrim usually do it and say so-and-so is unconscious.
I hate that almost every new person I speak to says if video games come up, they go, "Do you like video games?" Oh, yeah. Oh, I love Skyrim. I'm just like, oh, fuck's sake. Why does everybody love Skyrim? I don't hate it, but I do just think it's mediocre.
It could be so much, but the world is lovely to walk around.
Oh yeah.
There's a kind of a chill out kind of atmosphere. It's wonderful just walking around and like shit starts happening
Punching
around
bandits in the face. And
yeah. Like climbing your way up mountains.
I still want to wait for when they actually. Remember when we watched? Actually, back in that podcast episode 1, I think we discussed the Omni.
Yes, the Omni and the Rift.
And the Rift, and they walking around Skyrim with the Omni and the Rift. And I thought that'd be quite nice. Go for a walk in Skyrim. Well,
yeah, I'd actually,
great until you get hit by tap by a troll.
I did actually say that I'd play Skyrim properly if they released a VR version, which they have. I just don't think any of my machines are powerful enough to play it.
Apparently, you just right click and stab with sword now. They might have improved it.
oh, there you go.
They've learned that their combat engine's shit, so they've nerfed it.
I could see what they're trying to do. It's a nice idea, but I think it should have been more of a case of like a positive lock. So when you like sort of whatever you selected, you could like lock somehow, and you'd always shot in the direction unless you changed it, like with an extra button. That would have worked. So you then did have the situation which I did, where it was so fine to control.
Well, I can't play it anyway because my machine ain't powerful enough.
Yeah.
Even the new machine ain't powerful enough.
I said, it's sword combat, and I said the voice acting was atrocious.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it's not quite Elder Scrolls level of atrocious, but still pretty.
It was pretty darn bad. You meet this medieval wench who talks to you in a really thick New York accent, saying "fucking."
Elder Scrolls gave me the same effect as your discussion on Nier. When I went through Skyrim, I just didn't give a shit about anybody.
Well,
so I hate all these characters. I really didn't like anybody in it.
I'm the same playing through Skyrim as well, though. Like, there's nothing about any of the characters in those games that really made me go, yeah, I should feel something about this world.
Yeah, there's
nothing.
There's not a single character I think I liked in the whole game.
There was one character that I thought was quite funny, in that she kept on experimenting in combat situations to make, like, oh yeah, we need to do some research on combat androids. And then she's like, now eat this fish. Apparently it's really dangerous for you to eat these. I was like, okay, why not? Well, the oils might kill you. Challenge accepted. Fucking job done. I haven't ate the fish yet. But I am going to try it.
Gotta love those Yandere characters.
And then there's another character, he's a monk. He's like a travelling monk. But he's a robot, so he's supposed to be an enemy.
Right.
But he's like, hey, will you spar with me? It's like, yeah, okay, cool. So you fight him, he's got his little fucking, he's got his headband on and shit like that. And then after that, he's like, right, well, now you've learned how to fight me, go get some shit for me, or give me some money. I was like, you asshole. Like, well, I taught you, then. I was like, no, I kicked your ass.
Nothing's for free.
That's it, pretty much. And then the game decided it was going to run at like a third of the frame rate it was optimised for.
If I've got some time, I will just chuck in my first impressions of Divinity.
Go for
what I've found of it.
Go. We've got another 55 minutes left.
Oh, cool. We're all good then.
We're talking shit. Well, at least I'm talking shit, because Tom, why do you like that game?
He's not watching, mate. He's probably in bed.
Poor fucking when he comes here again, you're going to get this rant again.
He used to complain.
Look, I avoided saying anything about why I hated Wolfenstein 2, that whole review, so...
That's fine, because I've had to talk to Stewie about this game, because he really likes it, and I was like, shit.
You're basically stuck with everybody that likes games you hate.
Yeah, it's like, what is your problem? Yeah, but the story was really good. Wait, like, I messaged him the other week, I was like, I've been playing this game for 7 hours. When does it get good? And he was like, what? I was like, this game's shit.
He's not one of those people that goes, we have to play for at least the first 50 hours, and then the
game said that to me,
really gets good.
I'd have fucking driven to his house and nutted him. Because he beat the game at level, I think he might have said he was level 23 when he finished the first part of the story as one of the main characters, because you have to get multiple endings like you do in Nier.
Yeah.
He finished the first ending by about level 20, 25 or something like that. I'm level 22 and I've like not even got a third of the way through the story.
He's just obviously bum rushed it then. He's gone straight.
I'm a murderous motherfucker. There's loads of little. I'm seeing all the
kill everything.
To be fair, genocide. If you're being nice, not killing everything, you're not going to get many experience.
Well, no, but the idea is that I've now picked up on, because I'm actually picking up more on what's going on in the world because I've done more of the quests. Where all he did was blast through the story, and he's like, "Doing great," and I'm like.
I just want to check in there. Actually, that's one thing I like about Arcanum. You get experience points for shopping. When you're trading goods, you get experience.
Well, like nectar points.
You get experience just for trading goods. I'm like, I quite like that. You would, wouldn't you? You would get a slightly
better at selling
knowledge
shit
of what things cost.
Eventually, at that point, you can take a store card out.
end up becoming some kind of merchant trader by the end of the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, my first impressions of this this Divinity game, and I wish I'd
Have you
actually
played the first one?
I haven't. No.
Okay.
Literally, what made me pick this up is I got it just before I really got that tinnitus really bad. So when I got that, I stopped playing games for a while. So I was just like, I didn't get to play it. I played it. I bought it before it came out, so I played the beta of it, like to begin with. Really liked it. Really liked the video that I saw of it. One of the things that sold it to me, funny enough, so like you can play as an undead character. I'm like, really? I could be a skeleton? Awesome. But I didn't end up doing that in the end with my playthrough. Funny enough, I ended up playing as an elf again. But the only reason I ended up being an elf is because there were no other elf characters in the game already that I liked, and I wanted to have one of each of the races. So I picked it up. I've actually modded it. I'm playing with a mod. I'm cheating slightly, only because the thing about this, one of the things I like about it is it's one of these games is open to mods. They've basically made it really easy for people to add their own mods and things to it. And the mod I picked was one that allowed you to have a bigger party than you should have. You can only normally have four characters, but one of the interesting things this game does is it lets you play as the characters that you can recruit. So you can start the game either as your own main character, or you can go, I really like the look of this Red Prince character who's in the game and that you can recruit. I want to play it through from his perspective. So you get to play, there's multiple ways of going through the game as these different characters that you find. I think there's seven. There's 6 characters in total, I think. You've got the Red Prince, who's like a haughty noble lizard. He's really funny. I quite like him. There's a guy called Ifan Ben Medst, and he's like he's some sort of shady assassin, but he's quite likable. He seems quite friendly, but you can tell there's something else going on with him, like because people keep coming up to him and saying, "Oh my god, you killed everyone in my village," and he just says shit like he'll laugh and go, "Yeah, but I ain't got a contract on you, so why the hell are you worried? It's not bad. I killed everyone in your village."
That starts to sound very familiar. Fucking Nier.
You got a guy called Fane, and I found him really interesting because all these different characters, they're written by different famous writers that are already in Larian, the company that made the game, have just got together with loads of other RPG people and gone do these characters. And Fane is written by Chris Avalon, who's known for Planescape and a lot of other big games. And Fane's thing is he's basically a really old undead wizard who got sealed away for some sort of crime, you don't know what, and he's come back
eating meat on a Sunday.
But one of the cool things about him is he's got an item that he's really desperate to get back, and it's funny because he actually seems kind of cool when you speak to him. He's not. When I heard he had this item, I was like, oh, he's going to be a complete lunatic, and he's not. He's really sound of mind and actually quite friendly. But he has an item called the Face Ripper, and the Face Ripper basically means that he can tear someone's face off and stick it over his skull, and then he looks like that person, and he can pretend to be that person. That's one of his little gimmicks. Each of the characters has their own sort of little gimmicks.
I wonder if that's why he got in prison.
Yeah, potentially. Read
between the lines.
I hijacked some woman's face.
There's what are the other characters? It's got Red Prince, Ifan Ben Medst. Alright, there's a guy called Beast. He's a dwarf pirate. He's pretty damn cool. I mean, you don't really get much cooler, do you? He's a dwarf and a pirate. It's there's 2 cool things mixed in one. I don't really know too much about him yet, but he seems kind of cool. There's some really annoying elven assassin woman who's just literally too edgy for me, the character, and I didn't like her very much. Because the first time she meets you, the first time you meet them is on the boat, but you meet them again when you get to this island, and she tries to kill you, and I'm just like, for no reason, and it just came off as really forced, and I'm just like, fuck her, I'm not taking her with me. And then the other character, the other character
not interested, love.
Again, it seems to be the case where I've ended up with an all-male party because the female characters don't have as good writing to them, which seems to be a thing in a lot of these RPGs. I normally tend to. There's a couple of instances where it's different.
But because you don't like that, people are going to get really angry.
You need to be more of a feminist. But I like female characters that are written well. I want more characters like that. I'd love to see more. Look, Arcanum's got a couple of really good ones. But yeah, the 2 that are in this...
female characters that aren't shit.
Yeah, the 2 that are in this aren't that interesting.
Too many games are. The idea to make a strong female character is to make him a bitch.
Make him a bitch, yeah. Which seems to be the case here.
No,
I hear that she gets nicer if you play further through the game with her. You get to understand why she's like she is. But the other character is called Loss, and she's a happy-go-lucky character who's got a demon in her head, and that instantly just made me go, fuck that, I don't want that in my party, that just sounds annoying. Instantly, it's also a random character that's got a demon in their head that sometimes gets out and makes her really evil, and it's sort of boring. I don't like also random characters that much anyway. So what I wanted to have these 4 characters. I started initially with 4 and I played as Fane, but then I was like, oh, I actually kind of want to make my own character and have the 4 guys follow me around.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, the game, this is the cool thing about it, because it's this multiplayer RPG, even when you're playing single player, your character doesn't have to be the dude that talks to people. It can be anybody in your party. So if they respond better to certain characters, say you've got a guy who goes, I fucking hate elves, I ain't talking to you, fine, alright, I'll get Ifan to do the talking.
Because you can actually split your party down into like
which I really like. I really like this about it. You pick tags at the beginning as well, so when you make your character, it's kind of like the backgrounds in Arcanum. Your choices are, you've got Jester, Mystic, Scholar, Barbarian, Soldier, Outlaw,
Murderer.
You can actually get one of those for your actions in the game. If you kill loads of people, you get stuff like
That'll be me.
Villain and Evil. You can get a heroic one if you save a load of people.
Not gonna be me.
But yeah, they react differently too. So I picked Jester and Scholar because none of my other characters had Jester, and I like playing funny characters anyway if they're genuinely funny. So I was like, I'll pick the Jester, and then I pick the Scholar. So I get lots of smart ass remarks on my answers, and then like I get lots of ones that are learned ones. So. Which is good because it gives you a bit more insight into stuff in the game, and Scholar seems to be one of those ones that crops up quite a bit in conversational options. But yeah, because you've got the other characters that have their own, you can kind of throw them in. So your racial aspect comes in, what your personality's like. They all affect how different characters react to you. I really liked that. I thought that was very good. Combat is great as well. It plays at XCOM, so you've got. It's all turn-based, and you sort of move around a little map bit and then fight characters from different angles, and you get different advantages depending on what you are. So say, my character's an archer, so he's got height advantage. If he's in higher ground, he does a shit ton more damage to enemies, so you have to sort of try and get higher ground with him. You can mix and match stuff as well, so character classes aren't locked. When you meet a new character, they have a class that they already have been given, but you can say to them, well, I kind of don't need another wizard. Are you capable of being a warrior? And I'll go, yeah, alright, cool. So any character can be anything, which is kind of useful. I normally kind of don't like that in single player games. Again, one of the reasons I don't like Skyrim is I don't like that you can be good at everything. I kind of find that dull, becoming, I can be the head of the fucking warrior group and I can be the archmage. Boring. I'd rather be a bit more specialised. But with this it makes sense, because with these kind of games they tend to be built around party balance, and so if you find a character you really like, then you're like, oh, but I've already got a wizard, I can't have him. You can then still have him. The only real downside is, character-wise, it might seem a bit strange. So like having Fane be a warrior when he's clearly like a very old wizard is like, it's a bit strange. But I managed to get it balanced so that characters, the 5 I've got, felt like they were what they should be. So I kept the Red Prince as a wizard and Fane as a wizard.
I'm assuming that characters have like a preferred class.
Yeah,
so,
what they start
so
with.
you can say you have Fane as a warrior, but he won't be a very good warrior compared to...
No, he can be a really good warrior, yeah, there's none of that. He can still be a shit-hot warrior. He'll be good at whatever you ask him to be, basically. So yeah, it's kind of a double-edged sword for me, and I like the freedom.
In real life. So nice to do something, you're just automatically good at it.
Yeah, I'm automatically brilliant at it. But, yeah, it's just basically a way of giving them their own class and picking what you want in your party. But I found that I changed a couple of things, but nothing too major. Like I've got 2 mages because the Red Prince and Fane are both kind of good at magic. But there's 4 base schools of elemental magic, and then there's like a couple of others that I didn't particularly like. But I wanted the 4 base elemental schools, and I realised I tend to min-max a little in these games, and I look up how many ability points you have to spend on things, just so I don't end up railroading myself and giving myself the answers. Although you can respec in this, it's not as big of an issue. But I found that you can only really take 2 spell schools, and I wanted to have all the elements. So I was like, alright, if I give the Red Prince 2 of them and Fane 2 of them, then I'm pretty down the middle. Fane's a kind of, he's got lightning or air, I think it is, and then water, and the Red Prince has got fire and earth, and they gel well because the interesting thing with the spells in this game, which I really like, is you can mix abilities. So say you throw a rock at an enemy, use a magic rock, like you enchant the earth to shoot a rock at someone, and the rocks always contain oil. So when you hit an enemy, that then coats them in oil, and then you can set them on fire. So you know that does the fire then does more damage over time because that character's coated in oil. So yeah. Then, like with the water magic, you get like one spell that at the beginning seems kind of shite because all it does is you can create a little rain cloud.
Yeah.
But that spell has so many different effects. If your character's on fire, you can use the rain cloud to put them out.
Yeah, sure.
You can then use the rain cloud to make an area wet and chuck a lightning bolt at it. Boom! Everybody in the area gets electrocuted. It's got so much tactical depth based on the different skills you can mix between the characters, and the fact that you can multi-class, that you can pick bits out of whatever you want. So for example, there is a class called polymorph, so you can sort of basically change aspects of your being, like you can give yourself claws and things. I only took one from that for 2 of my characters. So I took from Ifan, I got the ability to turn invisible because he's a rogue, so I have him turn invisible then backstab people. And with my archer, I gave have the ability that he can give himself wings, so I can fly to higher areas and then do higher arrow damage. So the combat system is one of the few instances where a CRPG has really legitimately good combat. I actually had to tone it down a bit because the difficulty I was playing it on, the game was just kicking the shit out of me. I was like, right, I really need to learn how a lot of these things work.
From what I understand, it's a game, at least Divinity Original Sin, the Enhanced Edition, that was a game that you could put 40 odd hours into and still know nothing. Yeah,
I guess so. I'm finding that this one is much the same. I've played through the first area a couple of times and I'm finding that there seems to be quite a bit to do. The game strikes me actually as much as it seems inspired by games like Planescape and Baldur's Gate and that. There's a lot of Ultima in there as well. It feels very much like Ultima 7 in the explorability you have and the way like you can open crates and things and the way it presents itself. So like you said 7 was one of the Ultimas you hadn't played.
I'm going through the series again.
Okay,
so eventually I will.
In 7, like one of the things you can do is like if you click on a bookshelf, you'll get a little thing under the bookshelf in front of you and it shows you what's in it. And then if you click on like a box, so rather than it just being a generic here's a load of grid menu and there's items, you open the box, alright, there's stuff in there. This game does the same. It's clearly taken that cue from Ultima. I think I remember watching something where they said they were inspired by Ultima to kind of do that. And that's why I think it's such a good game, is it's taken all these positive cues from these other games, put them together, and dropped all the shit that doesn't work, and just gone, right, okay, we're going to have these aspects that do kind of work. From so far, other than the 2 characters I left behind, I like the party characters. I find them interesting. The Red Prince I find incredibly entertaining. He's really up himself, he's really haughty, but he also comes off as somewhat likeable. He's kind of like a Blackadder character, and he's proper like he's really stuck up. But the first time you meet him, if you're not a lizard, because the lizards in this world for some reason are like royalty, the lizard race aren't, and the elves are more kind of savage, and then
like we know lizards control the whole world.
Oh yeah, I suppose David Icke would have a field day with this game. So, like, the first time you meet the red lizard, he's just like, look at you, you're perfect. And I'm like, oh, thank you very much. He's like, yes, you'll make a fine slave. Come on, let's keep... And like, one of the first things he does is he sticks his fingers in your mouth to check that your teeth look good and stuff. Because my character was funny, like a jester character, I humoured him. Like, yeah, go along with it, because it's funny. And he's just like, oh, yes, you've got good teeth. Then he asks you about your breeding and other stuff. And, like, determine on what you say, he'll either go, right then, we'll start you to work now. Come along, we'll get you some nice clothes and do this, that and the other. But if, like, you're not, he's just like, I'm so sorry to have to tell you that you haven't qualified. I know you feel terrible. I know it would have been wonderful to have employment under me, but, you know, I'm just going to have to let you go. But then, like, as soon as you get onto the island with him, you get people trying to kill him because he's got, like, a price on his head. And he just, like, is just, oh, well, you know, assassins come after me every now and then, but I just get rid of them. They don't do me any trouble. I'm a powerful wizard. What do I care, you know? And he's kind of got this affable sense about him that makes him quite amusing. Fane, again, is almost kind of... He's not quite as over the top. But again, you've got this idea that this is a really old, learned kind of character. Even though he's got quite a young voice, you can tell that he's like he's a wizard that's lived for a long time and he's being undead, and he knows a lot of stuff.
He's seen
but he's kind of affable about like death and stuff, and doesn't really seem to give a shit about a lot of. But in a way that's kind of endearing, which again is kind of why I didn't pick the Seville character, because it was all very spiteful, whereas the other characters are just kind of like, just oh, whatever, you know. Yeah, I've got this face ripper device. He's looking for somebody to build it for him, and everybody acts with disgust, and he can't understand why. It's like, why are they all so mad? It's an ancient technological device, goddammit. It's like something I need. Obviously, the thing with him I like as well is nobody knows he's undead. He dresses so that you can't see he's a skeleton. He's got all of his stuff hidden, so everybody just thinks he's a normal guy, but he's actually undead. And if you make an undead character, it's much the same. You wear clothes that cover you. I think you can choose not to, but then everybody just shits the bed as soon as you go up to them and like freaks out. But yeah, my experience with it thus far has been thoroughly entertaining. I think it's a very good game. It's got a lot of depth, and I think that it is a benchmark that more CRPGs need to work towards, to have that kind of, to have the good combat and the open character development and all the little tricks that it seems to have gotten right. It seems to have done perfectly well, while avoiding the pitfalls that the older games tend to have, like with Arcanum and Planescape, that had mediocre combat that just weren't fun to play. When you get into combat, this game makes, well, the combat is fun, the actual roleplay elements of it are fun, the world is interesting, it's very real and livable. Yeah, it's a thoroughly good game. I definitely recommend anybody interested in RPGs to check it out. I think it might actually be on sale at the moment on Steam, so definitely worth checking out.
I'll have a look at that. I know I've got the first one, I just haven't got it.
Yeah, I've not played the first one. I hear the first one's good, but not as good as the second. Everybody says the second one's like a lot better.
Bonus to the first one is on Linux, so
I'll probably get the first one anyway.
Sure.
Cool. Right, have we got anything for anybody else?
Yes.
Ooh.
Brief first impressions, and you turned up as I was playing it, because it was my stream today. So how many years ago was it that I gave Galgun my jokey game of the year?
Last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, do you know what? That was my last scope message to you, was Galgun's out on Steam. I saw that earlier. I was like, oh my god, yeah. Last time I spoke to Skazz on scope, because normally I talk to you through Steam, but yeah.
That wasn't last year.
Was it the year before?
It might have been the year before.
Yeah, it must have been.
That was quite a...
Yeah, it was. It was the year before last.
Yeah. So, all that time ago, I gave Galgun Double Peace my kind of jokey game of the year for PS4. And for anyone that doesn't know what Galgun Double Peace is, the Galgun series is a rail shooter.
Very serious rail shooter.
Very serious rail shooter.
Hard-hitting story, I cried.
So... something that you can actually give a shit about.
You know, I really, when she got stuck in that window, I was
it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. I'm tearing up now, I'm sorry.
But, right, so imagine, like, when I say rail shooter, we're talking Time Crisis, where you're shooting terrorists.
Light gun kind of game, basically.
House of the Dead, where you're shooting zombies. Virtual Cop, where you're shooting people on the street. And, you know,
isn't this game just basically Orgasmo?
Yeah, pretty much.
You have the orgasm gun.
Galgun, you're shooting women, just for lols, you know. Because
shoot chicks with an orgasm gun. Yeah.
Pretty much.
It's just basically like a Japanese porno game, pretty much, isn't it?
It was a really, really fun game, because I love rail shooters. I mean, I hated playing
the game itself is actually good, you know. It's a good, solid game. It's just the subject matter.
It was goofy as all balls, and it was. I mean, I wouldn't even say it was a quick game. It takes you a while to play through.
When we played it, like, we were there for about a while going through that, and it was only the first part of the game.
It could take a good few hours to get through the scenario, and then there's multiple scenarios, and then different ways you can go through the game. So you had a really stupid plot, which basically said, right, now we have to go from here to here, and we have to do it quickly. So it was pretty...
Wasn't the plot all the girls were just basically trying to mob him, and so...
So the idea with Galgun 1 is that...
Cupid cocked up.
Yeah, Cupid fucked up, and so everyone knows the legend of Cupid. You get hit with Cupid's arrow, the next person you lay eyes on, fall in love, live happy ever after. In the case of this Cupid, you get hit with the equivalent of like 37 arrows in one shot, so you get an entire lifetime's worth of attraction in one day.
They imply that you're going to fall in love 37 times.
But because of this, if you don't find your true love by the end of the day, when those arrows all wear off, no one's going to give a shit about you. Fucking, like, no one will give a shit about you. Your parents will basically think that you're a piece of shit and they want you dead. All of your friends will just basically abandon you because they don't care about you anymore.
This happened to me at some point in my life.
And,
you're the protagonist, it's based on you.
Yeah. And, so yeah, that's the reason why
I just must have stayed in all day and not grown any attention.
And
if one
by
of
the
the
time
other
you woke
girls...
up and thought you were drunk and there's this little fairy talking to you, so you need to go out and try and find fuck off.
But so but if any of the other characters get to you, that's not one of the kind of main characters you're supposed to get to, then you're miserable because you get with someone that you don't love and they don't end up loving you either.
Game over as you get married.
Basically,
it's basically pedestrian life for most people. They end up with somebody they really don't love, or kids they really don't like.
That's it.
And the future goes down the toilet.
And so the best part about that game, literally rail shooter. It's just a goofy as hell rail shooter, like all the rail shooters I've loved before.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's a rail shooter. It doesn't involve any violence, but yet you still can't let children play it.
Oh, there you go. But now Galgun 2's out, which I believe is technically
there is a
Galgun
rail
3.
shooter geared to children. I remember on the PlayStation 1, it's like you've got like a little furry animal character and you shoot things to
Couldn't
make
consider
his journey
Yoshi's...
safe.
didn't Yoshi have a Super Scope 6 style game?
Did he? I can't remember.
Which was like a rail shooter, among other stuff.
Oh, right, I don't know. I'll have to look that up. That sounds interesting.
But
I remember that game anyway. You had to shoot stuff to get this little animal to suit his day. It was a Namco G-Con shooter.
No, yeah. G-Con 45.
Good old classic G-Con.
I love him in my G-Con. So Galgun 2's out. I'm sure it's Galgun 3 because that was a Japan only.
Oh god, we've got into
Galgun.
the second Densetsu territory.
Yeah, pretty much. It's getting pretty dirt. And I was really psyched for it. I was like, yeah, another rail shooter. But as I recently started streaming Galgun Double Piece, the PC version. Just so, whatever, what game to play, and this is a good laugh.
With Galgun on a PC, can you use the mouse?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
There's a problem though.
No.
The tutorial is still mapped as if you're using the control pad.
Oh no.
So it's like, press the B button, and I'm like, what? It's like, yeah, if you want to turn around in that, use the left trigger on the D-pad.
I got One Piece.
What?
I got that One Piece game on Steam.
Steam controller.
The one that was made for 3DS that I got and then took shit.
Unlimited World.
Yeah, that does the same thing. So there's lots of stuff I can't do in that game. Cause it's just like, yeah, you need to press this button.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Galgun's pretty simple. It's left click, right click, centre click, and then you've got WASD.
The reason it doesn't work in this game is because it's got QTEs. So when it's telling me it's like, yeah, no chance.
And then you've got like the cursor keys for moving.
Oh right, so it's not too bad.
Left. So it's not, once you figure out what the buttons are, it's not that big of a deal. And
you can aim with the mouse, yeah?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Totally fucking spoiled using a mouse, by the way. I was like, oh, go on the PlayStation 4, that actually played quite good. Played it on the Steam version. I was like, this is so much better. Then went and played it on I got the Switch version of Galgun 2. Someone on my stream said, yeah, Galgun 2, you're going to be disappointed, it's not a rail shooter. And I was like, what? So, they've changed some of the mechanics in Galgun 2.
Right.
Same kind of goofy story. Demons are everywhere, but the angels have found a way to allow average Joe human to see demons, but it involves you putting on a VR headset that once you put it on, you can't take the fuck off. Because it practically bolts itself to your head.
Right.
But by putting that on, you have the same issue with Cupid's arrow.
I'll sit to the Rift.
Well, mate, it actually looks like a Vive or a Rift anyway. What's the Microsoft one?
Not Glass.
Not the HoloLens.
That's what I was feeling.
There's something, I don't know what it is.
They have got one.
Microsoft Cheese Reality or whatever it is. It just looks like a fucking headset that he puts on. Most people can't see it, but apparently it gives you the effect of Cupid's arrow, so it's goofy as fuck anyway. But instead of it being like, okay, here's a path and we're going to send you down this path for this stage and the enemy's going to come out at you, now it's, we're going to anchor you to this point and you can spin 360 on this point and look up and down. And the enemies will come from all directions.
Analog 360 was like north, south, east, west 360.
Like literally just spin on the spot wherever you want to go wherever they come from, go. And then once you take out the enemies that appear, assuming that you take out the enemies that appear, it will then say, okay, here's a point you can go, and you'll have like, you know, like when you play VR games, it comes up with like, you can move your cursor and it points to like a little area that you can teleport to.
Yes.
That's Galgun 2. Galgun 2 is a VR game without a VR headset.
Has it got VR support?
No.
Oh.
Not that I've seen.
Sounds like it's obvious for VR
so
support.
And this is my thing, so it's still goofy and it's fun, but because I've been spoiled with using a keyboard and mouse on a shooter for the PC version, it's way better than playing it on a Switch pad. Right, playing it on a Switch pad is almost wanting to kill yourself because aiming is bullshit. It's not hard, it's just bullshit. The fact that they've changed the rail shooting mechanic, I mean, it's not that bad, but now you can spin on the spot, you can duck, like you can, so you're standing on middle plane, one down, and then land on the floor. You can go back up to middle plane and then like kind of tippy toe, so you can, like, if enemies are kind of low down on a wall, you have to tippy toe up to be able to shoot them, to get the one shot on them. And then obviously the like teleporting from place to place. The Doki Doki mode that you can use to save your ass. Remember there was that special mode where you could like click on 3 enemies to make them all disappear at that point. That's changed now. You have to lock eyes with the character for a certain period of time. And then 1, 2, 3. Okay, now you can use the special move. Which is no fucking good when you've got like 5 or 6 people coming at you.
Yeah.
You are pretty much effectively fucked at that point. It's too slow, it's useless. Or maybe I'm just shit at playing the game. But it feels like it should be a VR title. I've looked at the PS4 version to see if it has PSVR support. So far from what I've seen, no. I am really hoping they haven't missed something here, or that maybe they're going to make a Galgun 2 VR, because that would play brilliantly as a VR title.
I've got to just chuck something in there. I was sold on VR by something the other day, just because it made me realise how far technology has come and yet how far it's got to go. It was a video of a guy, some foreign guy, having an existential crisis in a VR chat when he was drunk with an anime girl skin. It's fucking hilarious. This guy's just like rambling on all this shit like as a fucking anime character, really pissed, and he's just going, these guys, I'm so glad you guys could be in here with me today, like, to talk about this. And I'm just like, all this technology, like all these people thinking in the future we're gonna have VR, we're gonna do all this cool shit, but no, you just got some drunk foreign dude
I was tempted to get
as an anime girl. Like,
I was tempted to go VR the other week until I realised that the game that I want to play, so like VR ready is like a 1050 Ti.
Yeah.
But there's, like, most people say get a 1060 and you can play VR.
Well, I thought everything works absolutely fine on my 1060.
It won't if you're playing Doom.
Yeah, well, Doom just looks like a one-way trip of VR to make yourself really,
but
really
that's
sick.
all I want to fucking play.
it's like Doom in VR.
I want to play
I just
Doom
looked
in
at
VR.
Doom and I thought, I'm just going to be...
Minimum requirements, GTX 1070. Yeah. Recommended, GTX 1080. And I was like, oh, that's me fucking out on that one. That's the only game I was interested in playing. Other than maybe Galgun 2 in VR.
Yeah, I should have thought, I'd be so ill if I played Doom.
Oh, that'd be brilliant. Just vomit all over your new headset.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad of playing, because the two main ways of moving VR is you either teleport or you move. I can do teleporting, no problem at all, but moving is a problem.
As he ends up accidentally strangling himself with the cable that comes off the headset as he's like spinning around in the room.
No, I just get very sick.
Oh, okay.
The one time in VR where I had to move and my head moved, and that was a badly designed game though, because it says it's for VR, but you moved with WASD.
Ooh.
Yes, right. And you looked around with the headset, but the headset that didn't control which way you were. That was like your head was independent of your body.
Right.
So you want to turn with the mouse.
Right.
And that disconnect to turn with the mouse just instantly gave.
Oh yeah, because like instant motion sickness. Right?
It was. I literally played it for 5 minutes. As soon as I turned my mouse, like, no, I take the headset off and literally go lay down in a dark room for literally, this ain't exaggeration. I had to go lay down for about an hour and a half just to get rid of the spinningness in my head.
I tell a lie. There's another game I want to play in VR. I want to play Elite
G4
Dangerous.
Simulator.
Teleporting's fine, weirdly enough.
Have you tried Elite Dangerous?
Yes.
With your VR?
Yep, that's fine. You know, that feels fine because you're sitting down Elite Dangerous.
Yeah, but I really want to play that with a high task with VR.
That was actually the big disconnect, actually, because I've only got a single joystick,
Alright.
and it's on the right hand side. In Elite Dangerous, it's the wrong side, so when you look at your cockpit, your arm feels like it's in the wrong place.
Alright.
But if you have a HOTAS set up, it feels right because it's all in the right positions and so forth. Because in Elite Dangerous, if you look down, you've got your HOTAS, you've got your throttle on the left, and your joystick on the right. But because I've got a single by one, my throttle's on the joystick, so my left arm was over there, so it was like, it just felt wrong.
Yeah.
But it's nothing quite like when you're in it. You can literally sort of like you can jump into hyperspace, and you sort of look round as you're sort of jumping through hypers. It's quite weird.
Cool. That's what I've really
look over your shoulder, look into your cargo hold over your shoulder. It's really
that'd be neat.
Good, yeah.
Like
but yeah, I need to get a proper hold test.
I just think so with Galgun 2. I love the first one. I love rail shooters. But my God, if they're not turning this into a VR game, they are really missing something here. Because it plays like it should be a VR game. I mean, it really does play like it should be.
It does sound like it sounds like it's either they intended to be VR at some point and changed their minds, or they just thought, well, that's a good system for VR. Let's copy it. Saw to PS4 set up at Demo Bit. Their DVR Automata things. He did not. This is Andy. He did not play the VR stuff since he composed the organised run.
Tractor.
Yeah. What about VR Tractor VR?
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, that would be instant sickness.
It's got to be done.
Yeah. Fear Tractor.
Why haven't we made that yet?
You should do. You missed Fear. You weren't here for Fear Tractor.
No, what was Fear Tractor?
Fear Tractor was our new TV series we're going to run, where basically it's going to be like sort of how quickly that we can get killed by using heavy agricultural machinery. And we started to call it, and he got the idea of calling it Fear Tractor.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Best show ever.
Yeah. That's after we promised everybody we'd killed you, but.
Well,
you stopped turning up.
Good things don't stay away forever, do they? You know.
That's one of those things like
Well,
Margaret
bad smells
Thatcher. It
come
cost
back.
us more
If
to
true
make sure
love's
you
meant to
stay
happen,
to
it will happen.
Seriously, he's the real life Margaret Thatcher. That's going to cost us a small fortune to make sure he fucking stays dead.
Yeah.
That'll cost us more to fucking keep
Surely
him
this is
dead.
like the real life Rasputin. Wouldn't mind that.
No, see, I keep saying to people,
The last time we met you, did have a Rasputin he looked to you.
Is it?
I'd like to throw out there that Margaret Thatcher was actually a fictional character just like America. Look, America is a fictional place that we tell the rest of the world about to keep them in check.
Yeah.
Margaret Thatcher was basically what we used to tell children about.
And if you ever say someone goes to Heidelberg, what actually happens is they get a plane, fly round and round a few cents and land in a very special set like Westworld. Like there's like certain parts of the UK, that like parts of the country have been sent to pretend to be American, but all full of actors pretend to be Americans.
Just paint people orange on the way in.
Yeah.
Good times.
Right. Anything for anybody else?
No.
Awesome.
I don't have anything at all other than video games, but I do have something for another section.
Cool. You got 20 minutes.
Oh, cool. Well, I just got a nice new board game. Well,
We haven't had board games for ages.
yeah, I ordered this because I kickstarted it in April last year. So yeah, it was a while back, and it arrived a few weeks back. But I played it the other day, and it's bloody wonderful. It's a game called Rising Sun. It's a strategy game set in ancient Japan, where you play as clan of samurai. In the base game, there's 5 different clans, but because I kickstarted it, I got a special extra clan that you only get if you kickstart it. You get shitloads of stuff for kickstarting this game. It cost me 80 quid, right? But when I kickstarted it, there was the base game and a few extra things. Practically every day I was getting emails saying, yeah, we just like reached a new stretch goal, so this is in there now. Oh yeah, we just reached a new stretch goal, is this in there now? Just reached a new stretch goal, this is in there now. So when it arrived, it was in a box this big. It was like 2 big boxes. So you had the box with the main game in it, then had the Daimyo special box, which is all the extra stuff that Kickstarter's got. That was a big enough box. And then you got 2 extra boxes that had figures for the gods, which you normally are represented by sort of cardboard things in the game, but we got figures and some extra gear for them, and then figures for extra monsters, so more monsters. So the base idea of the game is it's you play it through seasons. So the game takes place over a 3-year period. So it's 3 turns, but each of those turns is quite large. So each year basically begins with a civil phase and ends with a war phase. So you start off going through the seasons of the year, and each season everybody picks a different thing, but there's a limited number of things that can happen. So it starts off with like, but this is the really interesting thing. When you look at the cards for the season-based things, it tells you what you get for doing the things and what your ally gets. So the game kind of encourages you to make and break allegiances. You get one of these cool little yin-yang tokens.
Right.
So you get like one side of the yin-yang for each thing in your colour, and you stick it down on the board, and then if somebody wants to ally with you, they stick theirs on next to yours, and instantly then you're allied. One of the things that can happen on a season is betrayal. You can't betray someone just out of nowhere. It has to be a sort of seasonal thing. So you kind of end up planning when and where, if you're going to betray someone. So it's great because all these allegiances start forming between players. I think it's 5-player maximum. So yeah, if two people align and another 2 people align, someone's going to get left out. So you can then just all like dogpile that.
So you can only ally with one other player at a time. You can't like
you can only ally. So, and then as soon as you betray someone, you can ally with somebody else if they so desire. This is where the psychological part of the game comes in, because a lot of the game isn't even in the rules. A lot of it is just fucking with people, just like going right. Yeah, well, if I ally with you, then when it comes to wartime, I'll make sure I don't use my ability to do this, because each of the 5 clans or 6 clans has a different ability. So, for example, one of the clans is set out on a world map or a map of Japan. So, one of the clans' abilities is they can move anywhere on the map at any time, whereas everybody else can only cross borders and then ship routes. That's it. One of the clans' abilities is at wartime, as soon as war breaks out, they can move any of their samurai units anywhere on the map. So they, as soon as war breaks out, they're kind of like stealthy ninja types. So they can be like, right, well actually my men, you thought they were here, but they're actually here. So just take people off guard. I think one of them, because you can get Ronin, you can hire Ronin, and one of the factions, they're like a geisha faction, and so they get Ronin easier. So they have their own warriors, but all their warriors are female, but they kind of sort of seduce Ronin into fighting for them, so they get all the bonuses on mercenaries. I think there's one that pays a lot less money. They're like a merchant faction, so they don't pay as much money for stuff. And there's one that, this one's interesting. They're political mandates, so when you place down a mandate for each season, theirs can be anything. So they're not limited by what the deck is. They can put down anything. There's a reverse side to the card. They just put the reverse side down and go, it's that. They can sort of pick and choose what they want, which is really powerful. So on sort of the surface, they appear to be the most powerful clan. It's only when you get into kind of the nuances of the game that you start to realise, oh right, that's actually not that powerful when you compare it to what you can do with other skills. So like your different mandates, for example, you've got harvest. So when you harvest, you reap the rewards for whatever your territory is. So the territory that you're placed on will have harvest rewards. So it could be victory points. This has got that Euro game system. If any of you guys familiar with Euro games, so where you'll have like a point system going around the board.
Oh, like Sellers Catan type.
Yeah. So there's a point system going around the board. You progressively work up it and down it through the game as things happen. Then at the end of the game, you get a tally of certain extra things which could push you forward. And the interesting thing with this game is you can choose, with obviously the betrayal and that thing, you have to kind of determine if you want to win on your own or if you want to win allied with somebody else. Because by the end of the game, if you're still allied with somebody, well, they're going to win with you. If you are fucking miles up the board and they're at the back, doesn't matter, they still win with you. You both win. Whereas if you kind of betray them at the last minute, it's a solo victory. So you have to be really cunning if you want to be the lone winner. It's more about kind of, well, you can quite happily be, actually I really like this dude, I want to win with him because we've been playing well for the game kind of thing. So it does really add that kind of political tactical depth, I find. That,
how much of a dick do you want to be?
Yeah, or then how honourable do you want to be, because it's one of those games where you can really succeed by being a dick, but you can be really fucking punished for playing as a dick as well if you don't make the right strategic decisions at the right time. People can just fuck you over really badly. But yeah, your seasonal mandates, you've got like a harvest, so you can harvest things. You've got one where you can train troops and recruit new troops. And they all have little bonuses depending on who plays them and who you're allied with, so you get little extra bits and pieces. And then war will break out, and depending on the mandates you've done, the battlefield will be set up a certain way. And depending on cards you've bought, because one of the mandates allows you to buy outside cards, and this is where extra things come in, because you can buy... Like I had one in the game where we played, which meant that anybody that uses the shipping routes has to pay me gold, because I own all the shipping routes. So they got to pay me gold. You can then like pick monsters and stuff, so you can get Oni. And my clan was the least honourable, because I picked the Fox clan, which is the bonus clan. And your honour determines where you are on the board. So the most honourable person gets certain advantages, the least honourable person gets certain advantages and disadvantages. So being in the middle isn't as good as being either really honourless or really honourable. You want to either be fighting for that top spot of honour or just go, fuck it, I'm going to be really dishonourable and just reap the rewards of being a dick. My clan pretty much made sure of that anyway, because the Fox clan have the least honour. So it's just like, alright, cool, I'll just be a dick then, because that's what they get. They get for having the least honour. So one of the cards I picked for a monster, I picked an Oni, because the Oni was stronger the less honour you had. So if you're really honourless, because he's a demon, so fuck, you've got this demon on your side, you're a bastard, he helps you out, he gives you more stuff. There's loads of cool models for monsters. So you've got like Oni, there's a big fucking panda warrior, they're all like mythological Japanese creatures. Godzilla's in there as well. They shoot Godzilla in as like a bonus, so you can get a fucking huge kaiju as one of your monsters. He was like a stretch bonus that they reached.
Winner right there.
Yeah, like your clan is then made up of different figures as well. So you've got your samurai, your basic sort of warriors. You've got your daimyo, who's obviously a leader, and then you've got Shinto. Now Shinto are interesting because they're monks. So one of the things you can play is you can send your Shinto off to pray to the gods. Now I think there's about 10 different gods, but you can only have 4 of them in game at any time. Okay. So at the beginning of the game, you'll shuffle the god deck and then draw 4 gods and put them in, and the gods give you different advantages as well. So that affects everything else, choosing when and where to worship. This is where honour comes in as well, because he who has the highest honour, if he is worshipping a god and say, I really want the advantage that Amaterasu gives me, I've put 2 guys on Amaterasu, somebody else puts 2 guys on Amaterasu because they really want that. It's determined by whoever has the most honour. So we've got the same amount of people, but because I've got more honour, say, I get the bonus, the other person doesn't. So there's lots of tactics there in getting around worshipping the gods and getting the bonuses as the gods. It's a very deep game. I found it that I will really have to play it a lot more before I fully understand the depth of the mechanics, because it is there's a lot that you can play with there by mixing up the god bonuses, the cards, the clan bonuses, and all the other shit that's involved in it. By the end, I'd actually done abysmally. I did really badly, but because I was in an alliance with somebody and he was doing quite well, I used my last 2 turns to not worry about where I was on the board, and I benefited him. I made all my goals go, right, I want you to win so that we both win. So I bolstered him, and it was really good because it came down to 1 point. We lost by 1 point, which was fucking infuriating. But yeah, the 2 other guys we were playing with, one of the guys is renowned for being a backstabby player, so we should have seen it coming. But yeah, those 2, me and the backstabby guy were actually in cahoots at the beginning, and then we switched over and ended up switching over to the other allies. So yeah, they won by 1 point, but the amount of stuff we all did to dick each other over was just spectacular. Like really, really quite interesting. Because one of them was playing fully honourably. The guy I ended up with in the end, whereas I was, which was ironic really, is I was probably like the honourless guy at the bottom of the board, and I ended up teaming up with the guy who was like full-on good guy kind of thing. And his clan, what did he have? He had the Turtle Clan, which are awesome. They're basically their special ability is you can put castles on the board that allow you to recruit troops, but their castles can move because they're on the back of gigantic turtles. It's like, that's fucking brilliant. Like, and yeah, if you get the Kickstarter edition, you actually get little models for the turtles, which is I really am glad I kickstarted it because I got so much cool shit with it for what I paid. I mean, it was £80 game, which games do seem to vary now between these bigger style games tend to be between sort of £50 to £80 realistically. I got way more than my money's worth. Way more, like a whole sort of 3 boxes more than my money's worth really, because I got the main game, all the Kickstarter stuff, and then sort of 2 expansions realistically. So yeah, I definitely invested well there. But it's a game, even without the sort of Kickstarter stuff, I recommend highly. Anyone that's into any strategic kind of board games, like games like Catan or any kind of risk sort of game, definitely give it a look, because it's very very political, I'd say. Yeah, lots to it.
Cool. Awesome. A couple more comments. Someone said you need to get a copy of the Battlestar Galactica board game.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I've heard really good things about that.
I've got that.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah, if you want to go with it, let me know.
We'll definitely play it, because
it's quite a long game.
I played a game that was very similar apparently. I used to have a game called Shadows over Camelot, and it has the same mechanic as Battlestar with the traitor whole thing going on.
What's interesting is you might not know your traitor until later on in the game.
Okay.
So what happens? You get a number of cards, and one of the cards is your Cylon, but there's more cards than there are players.
Yeah.
So when the first set get dished out, you may all be fine, you may all be human. Then the second set the remains get dished out later on, and one of you will be a Cylon. Well, no, you won't be replaced, but you are like a sleeper agent.
Oh, okay.
So you then find it later on your side. Yeah. So you then sort of like change your game plan.
Cool.
But yeah, it's well, I've played it, but it's quite a long game. I think you have to. I think we were about 3 hours in. We only got effectively there's it's in jumps. I think you got to do like 5 jumps.
Right.
I think we got to about the 3rd jump after about 3 hours. It's quite a long game.
I have to say, actually, talking about Rising Sun there, I expected it to be a long game, and it isn't. It's really this company that made it, I think it's CMON, like Common or something, that made this game. The rule set is brilliant. It's really fluid. Looking at everything that's there, this massive board, all these models, all this stuff, I thought, fuck, this is going to be a game. It's going to take us a long while. But because of the 3-year period, once you get the hang of how everything works, it's very quick. It moved much quicker than I expected to. It's got a very good flow. We'll have to play both of them actually. Have a few board game sessions where we.
He'd say last game at BSG he played both the Admiral and the President with Cylons. That's problematic because the President can space people.
Right.
Probably about the airlock, and the Admiral has access to nukes.
Oh, what?
Yeah. So. But,
yeah, no, we'll definitely be up for playing that.
Yeah. Well, I'll talk about. We're going to end now because we're short of time, unfortunately. Right. So thank you much for watching. Sorry for that.
There's a cut right there.
Well, timer is against us.
Sorry you couldn't see my beautiful face for most of the podcast because Linford is in a way.
Linford got really excited.
Linford just can't help himself, you know.
So I'll take it for one last minute. There we go. I'll take a second. So, thank you for watching up in the SuffolkRam.
I've been bad.
Skazz.
And we look forward to seeing you in a fortnight's time.
That we do.
I just don't give a shit about robots.
Were they all Cylons? Is that why you were killing them?
Most likely.
Even the children?
Yeah.
They're the worst
kind of those ones that fucking sing.
Yeah, that's quite insidious, isn't it? Robots pretending to be children.
There's silent robot on that Battlestar.
Is there like Cylons that pretend to be kids, is there?
No.
That's dark, isn't it? That's really dark.
Yeah,
like.
No.
It was one of the. It had a typical fucking child thing where, hey, yeah, the little sister is the one that's 9 feet tall. And you're like, oh no, my little sister's gone. You go find her. That fucking 9 foot tall, built like a brick house. What? And then it starts crying.
That just makes me think of Trombone.
Yeah.
With the Bond family, they've got that big fucking hulking robot and he's the baby in the family. Or is he? No, he's a baby in a robot suit, isn't he? He's like a little baby controlling a giant robot. But you never see the baby, do you? You just see the big robot suit.
I need to play that. I actually tried to go through.
See, if they were Reploids, you might have been a bit kinder to them.
Maybe. The thing is, though, I hate. The trouble is, I'm supposed to pick a side, but I hate both sides. I hate both
Skyrim all over again. I had that
pretty
problem.
much. Just like, what the fuck?
Do you want to fight the Stormcloaks or the Imperial? No, fuck them both.
Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna fight for myself. You're all fucked.
Anyway, favourite watching. I'll see you. We'll see you in a fortnight. Bye. Bye.
Right, I'm busting for a piss.
The stream
No, the stream is just beginning.
really wish I was still recording at that moment in time, because that would have been the intro to the to the podcast.